It's Benji Cole, son of Al Cole from CBS Radio and host of the syndicated talk show, People of Distinction. The talk that gives you an in-depth view of some of the most dynamic, intelligent, and successful people on the planet. Run to our website, alcoleenterprises.com for more info. Email me through benji@alcoleenterprises.com if you'd like to get involved with what we have going. And as always, please continue to like and follow our broadcasts. People of Distinction is internationally syndicated solely due to the love and support that you all continue to give. We're available across all major distributors, and as long as you keep following, we're going to continue to put out the content. Now sit back and strap in, because on the line with us today, we have the impressive Lola Allen. And we're going to be discussing Lola's incredible book, Answered Prayer, trusting in the power of prayer to transform your life. It's Amazon, it's Barnes & Noble, it's a lot of other places. This is a book that you need to add to your shelf. Now, before I go any further, I want to point out the fact that Lola was brought to us by Author Reputation Press. So for my writers out there listening in, if you need some assistance, some guidance moving that book you just developed, head on over to authorreputationpress.com and gather all of the ways that their fantastic team is suited and experienced to help you do just that. And people, it is an absolute pleasure to have Lola here with us on the line. Man, what if your deepest period of doubt was actually the starting line for your greatest proof? Now, listen, follow me here, man, because I love that question. Yeah, it's deep, it's layered, it's philosophical, I got it, but it's really going to help with perception, and I think so much of today's discussion revolves around it. Lola is here, and she doesn't just ask us to have faith. She's going to present a compelling case for answered prayers that transformed her life. All right, listen, she is here to share the stories behind her powerful book, and how what she experienced can offer a lifeline to anyone that is feeling alone in their struggle. Trust me when I tell you, man, we aren't shying away from it. This conversation, and more importantly, this book, it's written for the skeptics, for the weary, and anyone wondering if they're just talking to the ceiling. And I get it, right? Because we've all been there, man. There's been times where I'm screaming and I'm wondering, is God even hearing me? Lola is here today to tell us, he hears all of it, right? He's there with us through all of the frustration and all of our darkest moments. Lola, welcome to the network, and thank you for being here with us. How are you doing today?
Oh, I'm fine. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Lola, it's a pleasure to have you. Your words, your book, man, they're going to offer a lot of wisdom and a lot of inspiration for so many people out there listening in. So thank you for being here with us to discuss it all. Let's start off by learning more about yourself and your background. Who is Lola Allen?
Okay. Lola Allen is a single woman in her early 20s, leaving the country of her birth, which is Jamaica, to come to the United States of America, because I was sponsored to take care of a disabled child. But leaving Jamaica, I was a student in college and had to leave home because my mom had to leave, go to England where my father had migrated, and I need to get home because my youngest sister was taking her senior Cambridge exams, so I had to be home with her. Shortly after getting home, I was raped and ended up pregnant.
Oh, my goodness.
And I could not return to college, and everything changed. But praying to God, He allowed me to make the decision after several months and years of stress and financial difficulties. I end up with a second son, and now the opportunity came to travel to America. The job was offered, and I went to school and took the exams that was needed to have the certificate for the job. So the time came to leave. Think of it, how painful it is. I have two small kids I considered like babies, and now I'm going to leave them to come to America. I don't know what wait awaits me in America. So that what my only help was prayer. I had to pray to God, was I making the right decision? And how would God work out, how things would work out for me? Which it came to the time I did have help to take care of my children. And then now coming to America, I don't know what I'm going to experience here, but by God's grace, I took the trip and came to America. Only I came to Miami, was where the family were. When I got here, they were already gone back to New York, where they originally lived. So I took the long drive on the Greyhound to New York. Then, during the time of waiting, it took 3 months for me to finally decide to leave. They hired another young lady to work in my place. So she was a problem that when I get there, she was going to lose her job. So it was a lot of praying and a lot of stress, but I take it to the Lord. And he worked it out that I was able to be dismissed from the job, which I was supposed to be kept for 2 years on that job. And the owner decided to free me, clear my record so I could go back to Miami and get another job and continue with my life. Only God could have done that.
Lola, wow. Okay, listen, thank you very much for showcasing this. And listen, just by offering that snapshot, it's clear to me, and I know it's clear to my listening audience as well, the divine presence that has been in your life and how God has pulled you through so much. And I love it, inspired by it, I'm moved by it. But now my follow-up now is an interesting duality that I'm sure you've experienced by writing this book. Because, listen, okay, so many books, they talk about faith. But yours, you make the bold promise that your book offers proof. Okay. Now, that's, again, a very bold statement. I love it. I'm here for it. But I want to know, through this book's creation, how did you navigate the delicate balance between sharing something that was so personal to you and your spiritual testimony while also presenting something that feels universally validating for the reader?
This was not, I could not have planned how my life would have turned out, except the fact that I was raised in a home with parents who taught us to read and write and to read the Bible. And we had a personal experience of going to church and observing the Sabbath and the life we lived. My father was very protective. It was 5 girls of us. He was very protective of us. But he taught us, my mother also, taught us to be industrious. My father was originally a tailor. Then he became an elder in the church. So we had that experience growing up, going to church, taking part in activities in the church, learning to read the Bible and pray and ask God to direct us during school, work, whatever we were doing. We were taught to ask God for direction, and he did. So with that background, I came to America, and that was the essence of my life, raising a family. God was the main person, even though I couldn't see him, but I would get my answer from going to my Bible, and I could know that he answered in the things that take place in my life.
Lola, listen, for anybody out there that's listening in, because listen, you offer something that a lot of people, just from a standpoint of adversity, we've all been there, right? From a standpoint of being in a moment of darkness in our lives, we can all relate. But you showcased something with the amount of vulnerability and transparency that you've showcased. So you are able to offer a tremendous amount of wisdom. For anybody out there that's listening in right now, they hear your words and it's resonating. It is making them feel like this is something they want to latch onto. They believe in the power of the Lord. This is something they want to continue to deepen themselves, but they don't even know where to begin, how to find any shred of light to peer through that dark cloud and help illuminate their path. What do you want to say to them? Where do they even begin on this journey?
Talking to God is like talking to a friend. If you find a friend that you can talk to, that you have your personal information, and you can trust that friend to tell them, and they don't take it and spread it around. So that's the feeling you get when you get used to praying to God, that it's talking to him as a friend, and he hears, and you have to tune yourself to listen and to watch what takes place about what you prayed for. Does the Lord answer? In what form? If it doesn't answer right away, if you learn to have patience, to wait and watch, you will be able to detect after you have learned to trust him that he does hear and he will show you. If he don't speak to you personally, but you can get dreams. And the Bible said we all get dreams and visions. So if you want, first you got to believe that there is a God.
Yeah.
Because that does not believe there is a God. So that's the first thing you have to believe. Yes, there is a God that created this world. And if you read the Bible, I'm used to the King James version of the Bible that states in Genesis, the beginning. I don't believe in evolution, and evolutionists now have proven that the Bible is correct, because the Bible tells about a flood, and in any country that you go, there are signs that there was a flood on this earth. So you have to learn to have that personal relationship when you talk to God. That is your special friend that you can, and he does answer. My experience with him from coming to this country, working, raising my children through difficulties, times when I could lose my home and I had to pray, and the Lord showed me what to do and allow me to be in this house now for 50 years. Oh. Only God, because I've been to the point where I had to file bankruptcy so I don't lose my home. And he showed me what to do when I lost my job from injury to my knee, and I couldn't work for a year and 7 months. I was able to return to my same job. After 1 year and 7 months, they thought that was impossible, but I did. And I was in that very job when I've gone through breast cancer and be out for 9 months. I was able to return to my same job. I was now going to work one day and had an accident. That's what my experience from that accident, from me to publish this book, because after so many years I've been talking to the Lord. He knew me he knew my name. That day, I was hit. My car was hit on the side. And next thing, I was crossing 3 lanes on I-95. And I looked. The moment I got the bump, I talked to God, asked him, Lord, I don't want to die up there. Please take control. And he did. I was looking on 4 lanes of traffic, and there was no traffic when I'm crossing 3 lanes before I hit the wall. There was no traffic, and I'm looking, and I'm fighting with the car from turning over. No cars coming to hit me again. That was the first thing. I was shocked. But when I hit the wall and looked around, there was 2 young men standing in the road looking at me. How was that possible? Only God could do that. How did that young man driving his little pickup? They did not see when the truck hit me. That's what they told the police. But they saw my car careening across those lanes, and they blocked traffic so no one else hit me. And they were the ones who came and helped me out the car because I could not get out by myself. The engine, and I was driving a Toyota Avalon, a large car. The engine came all the way up, burst through the dashboard, and my feet were pinned under there. I wouldn't have been able to get out. They came and got me out. During that time, I discovered now that I had broken a rib, I thought, because I couldn't take deep breaths anymore. I'm gasping. But being a nurse, I realized one lung was punctured, but I was getting enough air from the right to keep me breathing. But that's when one of the young men I asked to help me to sit on the road so I could lean my back against his knee because I needed to be up to get air. Suddenly, I felt I was fainting, darkness coming down in front of me, and I thought I was fainting. But I watched it, and it slowly came down until it touched the street. There was no cloud in the sky all day. So I start watching it. After I realized it was not me, I wasn't fainting. This was now something in front of me. I was curious and looking to see what I couldn't see through it. It was a darkness you couldn't see through. And on the side, when it stayed, I don't know how long, but the other young man, the driver that hit me, stopped. So the other young man was talking with him. When I heard the young man said, "Rescue is here," that's when I noticed the darkness start to lift. And that's where my curiosity came, because I could see the hedge, that it had a hedge, and I could watch it. And now the difficulty breathing was not that important. I was watching that it was actually a thing in front of me. And I saw the edge and the sunlight coming up, now shining. And as it passed my eye, the sun shining the same. Then my thought came, was it God? But I couldn't say anything. That was in my mind. Rescue came, took me to the hospital where I work. I don't want to go through the whole detail because you have to read the book to get the whole detail. But after the surgery, when they put me on the scanner and saw that I had 5 broken ribs, not one, push your 5 fingers into the other 5. That's how my ribs were broken. And that side of my rib cage was smaller, was all 5 ribs were pushed in, and I had a ruptured lungs and spleen. But God kept me alert, because when the doctors saw by the scanner what was inside, they could not understand how could you be alive, plus able to tell us what was wrong, because I was telling them my ribs were broken, and they didn't want to believe until the doctor, when he thrust my side for 3 times and it couldn't go the last time, he saw the blood and the bubbles and the water that came. Then he took me to the scanner, and they saw, and they were amazed. It was impossible for me to be alive or alert to tell them. God came to the scene and kept me wondering what I was looking at and kept me alert. And I didn't hear anything until the day after surgery. And my surgery took, imagine how many hours it takes for them to cut titanium strips to overlay 5 ribs, and for them to do it, drill holes in those 5 ribs on both sides and put those. Imagine how long that takes. They did. God was there watching and directing. And what? I came through recovery, and then when I was back in ICU now, back in the room that they had worked on me all that time to inflate my lungs that I could breathe and all that. This was a Sunday morning. I woke up and I looked around and I could take a deep breath, and I looked around and I'm alive and I have no pain. I can breathe. And in my mind, I thought again, was it God? And suddenly I got a slap on my forehead. He didn't touch me. He slapped my forehead and I jumped. I felt the 4 fingers slap and I jumped. And quietly the voice said, "Don't you see I came and I let you see me?" Oh God, tears. I was able to cry for the first time. And I cried all day. Me, a sinner, was in the presence of God all this time, and I'm alive, and I didn't know. And then I wasn't able to hold a conversation with him then to say anything else. I was terrified at the fact that God was at my bedside to slap my forehead and talk to me, and I'm a sinner, nobody. It took all day of crying and thinking before it dawned on me that maybe I could have asked him something else. But no, because God doesn't hold conversation like other people. But he answered. He gave you enough for you to know. And this, after all my years now, I was in my 70s, that God answered and talked to me after my years of praying to him as a child. You go through my book, you will see all that. But all through these troubles, I sing songs from my church hymnal, and the words in those songs, you have to read them. Those are the comforting words. Many of them came from the Bible. Many of them from people who have experienced difficult times in their life. They wrote these songs to encourage themselves and to encourage others. So I place them in there because in every step of the way I went, there were songs that I sung, and the words were the encouragement to keep me going and to prove that God was there with me and working out everything in my life.
There is so much to be gained here, but I think that is the perfect ending for such a powerful interview. If you take nothing else from today's discussion, please let it be this. Your story isn't over. This is a journey. And right now we're talking about Lola's journey in her book, Answered Prayer, because listen, it is a powerful reminder that the most challenging chapters in our lives can lead to the most profound revelations. This book isn't just a story to read, it is an invitation to start seeing your own life as a potential testament And your own proof might be waiting in the very struggle that you're facing right now. So I'm going to say it again, man. It's Amazon. It's Barnes & Noble. The book is entitled Answered Prayer, Trusting in the Power of Prayer to Transform Your Life by Lola Allen. Pick up your copies today, and let's start getting better tomorrow. Lola, this has been an absolute pleasure. Such an honor. Thank you once again for being a guest on People of Distinction.
Thank you so much for having me. And my prayer is that the Lord will bless you for thinking about me and get comfort and know that God is real